Hello everyone. Thank you for coming to watch. Come look at our plants. So I've done some of Genesis, a little bit in videos, and a little bit of Exodus with the Pharaoh and the plagues. But I'm going to try and read some of the Old Testament so I can lay in some of the foundation work. So I'm going to start at chapter 12, verse 31, which is titled for me, The Exodus. Then he called for Moses and Aaron by night, and said, Rise, go out from among my people, both you and children of Israel, and go serve the Lord as you have said. Also take your flocks and your herds, as you have said, and be gone, and bless me also. And the Egyptians urged the people that they might send them out of the land in haste. For they said, We shall all be dead. So the people took their dough before it was leavened, having their kneading bowls bound up in their clothes on their shoulders. I think that really means they left in a hurry. They didn't even let the bread rise. They said, we gotta go. Which, I mean, given all, this was right after the death of the firstborn, right? So people were about to lose people that they loved, and it was going to be a really bad situation. So it's a good thing they left. God was like, you better get out of there. Now the children of Israel had done according to the word of Moses, and they had asked from the Egyptians articles of silver, articles of gold, and clothing. And the Lord had given the people favor in the sight of the Egyptians, so that they granted them what they requested. Thus they plundered the Egyptians, but God allowed it. Then the children of Israel journeyed from Ramesses to Succoth, about 600,000 men on foot, besides children. That's a lot of people. A mixed multitude went up from them also, and flocks and herds, a great deal of livestock. And they baked unleavened cakes of dough which they had brought out of Egypt, for it was not leavened, because they were driven out of Egypt and could not wait, nor have they prepared provisions for themselves. Now the sojourn of the children of Israel who lived in Egypt was 430 years. That's how long they lived there. I don't even know. Samaritan, Pentateuch, and Septuagint read Egypt and Canaan. I don't know. Some of that's not English. If you understand that, I need more assistance. The children of Israel, so they didn't have any regular bread, which sucks. Which I think is why the manna needed to come in. And it was a temporary solution, right? They brought enough livestock to kind of. But like I said, it's a lot of people. You don't have a city. You used to coming from Egypt. You had a whole ecosystem, but you got nothing out in the desert. Now the sojourn of the children of Israel who lived in Egypt was 430 years. And it came to pass at the end of the 430 years, on that very same day, it came to pass that all the armies of the Lord went out of the land of Egypt. It is a night of solemn observance to the Lord for bringing them out of the land of Egypt. For is that night of the Lord a solemn observance of all children of Israel throughout their generations. Passover. And the Lord said to Moses and Aaron, This is the ordinance of the Passover. No foreigner shall eat it, but every man's servant who is bought for money, when you have circumcised him, then he may eat it. A sojourner and a hired servant shall not eat it. In one house it shall be eaten. You shall not carry any of the flesh outside of the house, nor shall you break one of its bones. All of the congregation of Israel shall keep it, and when a stranger dwells with you and wants to keep the Passover to the Lord, let all his males be circumcised, and then let him come near and keep it. And he shall be as a native of the land, for no uncircumcised person shall eat it. One law shall be for the native born, and for the stranger who dwells among you. Thus all the children of Israel did, as the Lord commanded Moses and Aaron, so they did. And it came to pass on that very same day that the Lord brought the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt according to their armies. Which there was, I think I had tried to say this one time when somebody had brought up circumcision, but it was truly a way of, distinguishing your people against one another, right? Nobody else did that. I don't think a single other group of people or religion did that. So it's definitely defining. The firstborn consecrated. Then the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, Consecrate me to all the firstborn, whatever opens the womb among the children of Israel, both of man and beast, it is mine. So God is saying he's going to find you somewhere to live. The Feast of Unleavened Bread. And Moses said to the people, Remember this day in which you went out of Egypt, out of the house of bondage, for by strength of hand the Lord brought you out of his place. No leavened bread shall be eaten. On this day you are going out in the month Abib. And it shall be when the Lord brings you into the land of the Canaanites, and the Hittites, and the Amorites, and the Hivites, and the Jebusites, which he swore to your father to give you, a land flowing with milk and honey, that you shall keep this service in this month. So God is telling them pretty much what he's going to give them. 7 days you shall eat unleavened bread, and on the 7th day there shall be a feast to the Lord. Unleavened bread shall be eaten 7 days, and no unleavened bread shall be seen among you, nor shall leaven be seen among you in all your quarters, not even in your bed. And you shall tell your son in that day, saying, This is done because of what the Lord did for me when I came up from Egypt. That's a pretty good request. It shall be a sign to you on your hand as a memorial between your eyes, that the Lord may be in your mouth, for with a strong hand the Lord has brought you out of Egypt. You shall therefore keep this ordinance in its season from year to year, never to be broken. The law of the firstborn. And it shall be when the Lord brings you into the land of the Canaanites, as he swore to you and your fathers, and gives it to you, that you shall set apart to the Lord all that open the womb, that is, every firstborn that comes from an animal which you have. The male shall be the Lord's. So the sacrifice. So the firstborn of a new livestock, that's your sacrifice, which is an idea of tithing, I think, right? But every firstborn of a donkey you shall redeem with a lamb, and if you will not redeem it, then you shall break its neck, and all the firstborn of man among your sons you shall redeem. Oh, so a lamb in place. God doesn't want donkeys? I guess not. So it shall be, when your son asks you in the time to come, saying, What is this? That you shall say to him, By strength of the hand of God, or the Lord, by strength of hand the Lord brought us out of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. And it came to pass, when Pharaoh was stubborn about letting us go, that the Lord killed all the firstborn in the land of Egypt, both the firstborn of man and the firstborn of beast. Therefore I sacrifice to the Lord all males that open the womb. But all the firstborn of my sons I redeem. It shall be a sign on your hand and frontless between your eyes, for by strength of hand of the Lord brought us out of by strength of hand the Lord brought us out of Egypt. So God did a thing, and we do a thing in remembrance. Because, I mean, is there a way that the Israelites left Egypt without God having to intervene and needing to do it? Maybe they all, like, 600,000 people, but over the course of a couple years, you don't think you could, like, underground railroad it out of there over time? But that's just an idea. That's just a theory, a religion theory. Where was I? The wilderness way. Then it came to pass, when Pharaoh had let the people go, that God did not lead them by way of the land of the Philistines, although that was near. For God said, lest perhaps the people change their mind when they see war, and return to Egypt. Oh, they said it might be too scary. Or he said it might be too scary. So God led the people around by way of the wilderness of the Red Sea. And the children of Israel went up in orderly ranks out of the land of Egypt. And Moses took the bones of Joseph with him, for he had placed the children of Israel under solemn oath, saying, God will surely visit you, and you shall carry up my bones from here with you. So he said, you're going to do this to me. So they took their journey from Succoth and camped in Etham at the edge of the wilderness. And the Lord went before them by day in a pillar of cloud to lead the way, and by night by a pillar of fire to give them light, so as they go by day and night. He did not take away the pillar of cloud by day or the pillar of fire by night from before the people. He always stayed with them, like a nice God. The God. No, it is nice though. I would want, right? At least a little beacon to show me where to go. That'd be nice. Alright, well, this is interesting, right? Because I need to learn more about the rules and whatnot, and more about the history. And there's so much conflict in the Old Testament. And, like, we think we have it nice, but, like, it took war for us to get what we have now. So, I don't know, you know? It's a journey, right? Everything that we have to go through. So, you know, how do we get there? Where are we going? How do we use that? To build what God had already built, right? God had already built what was intended in the first place. Find some peace. Stay out of trouble. Kevin, put that down.